I had always wanted a bigger family. I love children. I thought I would love to have a daughter, and I would love to give my son a little sister. I went to one children's home on the outskirts of Nairobi and identified a little girl. She was called Lucy by the home. The homes give names to children. They said they knew nothing about her background. She'd been abandoned. They didn't show me any paperwork, but they said, sure, I could try to proceed to legally adopt her. She was very cute. She was very young. Probably she was about a couple of weeks old. And I signed an agreement with the home, which I understood was a legal agreement that enabled me to take her home on a fostership basis, pending my application to adopt her legally. I took her home and we gave her the name Kezia. It was wonderful. I can just say that from day one it was fantastic. She was such a cute and loving little baby. She just seemed to warm to the love and attention that we gave her at home. My son Gisa, who was just a little boy, he was like 4 or 5 at the time, he just doted on her, and people even used to say that they kind of looked a little bit alike. Things happened very suddenly. It was indicated to me through my lawyers, actually, that the children's department were unhappy, that the child was at my home and in my care, and I was virtually being accused of having taken her illegally. I was going to have to bring her back because there was something wrong with the background and the child was not available for adoption. Again, no letters and no formal official phone call or anything was ever given to me. But I was sort of informed through those rather obscure sort of channels, indirect channels, that her biological parents, who were not married, had both been imprisoned on various offences. I think one of the offences was to do with neglect, and that when they came out, they were going to take the child back, and I had to bring her back. It was a horrible affair. The father and the mother were there. It was very clear they didn't want to be there. The children's officer had told them they should come and get their things. A horrible way of saying, you know, come and collect your child. The vibes were awful. It was very clear they didn't want her. You could cut the atmosphere with a knife. There was hostility. And I had to hand the child over. I had kept in touch with the OCS at the local police station. I used to call from time to time and request information about the family. You know, had they seen the child? Did they know if things were going well or badly? And I was told, oh, didn't you know that child died? My heart just stopped. She died on her own in a room. She was found on the floor by the sofa. Her hands were and her mouth were full of food, dry food. It was clear that she'd been left alone to eat. She must have been so hungry. She was shoveling food in her mouth, and she had choked to death on a chunk of potato. I took my time to think about it, and it was not an easy decision in some ways, and yet it was natural in another way. I decided that I would go ahead and try to adopt another child. My daughter Saba, I brought her home from another children's home where they handled the paperwork and everything seemed far more squeaky clean than everything had been with Kezia. I actually wrote a document that one of the local newspapers published, and I distributed the document to the courts, to the judiciary, to the legal system, to the children's department, trying to raise her case and trying to, you know, see that these kind of things won't happen again.